Anong nire-request niya? Magka? Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, pero sa sigatanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang inilaw, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisitil, sa nagagatutok sa simoy at sa langit mo panglaw, ay hinatang tulakaw, sa pagkayang minamahal. Isang ang matawag mo'y nagbukay na nagtitigil, ang pitutin na kalong niya kailan pa may di matitigil. Luman ang araw ng warhagin pagsikta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya ng pantay mag-amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Ayan, isang makaagham na hapon po sa ating lahat. This is Ems of PSTO Tarlac and we welcome you all to Tech Tips Session 35 titled Precision Agriculture. So aside here from Zoom, you may also join us live via Facebook at DOST Central Luzon and through the Provincial S&T Offices Facebook pages. Also after this webinar, abangan din natin yung ating attendance link and evaluation for you to get your e-certificates. Yung e-certificates po natin will be sent to you within 2 weeks. Of course, we would like to thank Tarlac State University for the Zoom platform that we are using, DOST3 TCT unit and Science Communication team for always supporting our activities, and to DOST Nueva Ecija for covering Tech Tips events via Facebook Live. To make our webinar inclusive then, joining us again today, Ms. Daylin Pedro, our sign language interpreter. Ayan, hello ma'am. Okay, so to formally open our webinar, we will now hear a video message from the ever-supportive, innovative, and dynamic Provincial Director of DOST Nueva Ecija, Ms. Lady Mel B. Sica.
Isang makaagham na araw po sa ating lahat. Ikinagagalak kong makasama kayo sa isa na namang makabuluhang episode ng Tech Tips Webinar Series, handog ng DOST Central Luzon. Ang Tech Tips o Technology Training and Information Promoting Science ay layuning maibahagi ang mga makabagong teknolohiya at kaalaman mula sa DOST at ating mga eksperto upang makatulong sa ating mga kababayan sa agrikultura, industriya at pamahalaan. Ngayong araw, ating pag-uusapan ang Precision and Digital Agriculture, isang napapanahong paksa na nagbibigay daan sa mas matalinong pagsasaka gamit ang datos at agham. Sa pamamagitan nito, nagiging mas efficient ang paggamit ng lupa, tubig at abono. Mapapangalagaan ang kalikasan at mapapataas ang ani at kita ng ating mga magsasaka. Ito ang direksyon na tinatahak ng DOST, ang pag-unlad sa pamamagitan ng inobasyon. Sa ganitong mga gawain, patuloy nating napapalakas ang ugnayan at pagbabahagi ng kaalaman para sa mas produktibong komunidad. Ngayon pa lamang ay nagpapasalamat na kami sa aming speaker, Dr. Jonathan Fabula, ang ating mga partner institutions at sa inyong lahat na patuloy na sumusuporta sa mga programa ng DOST. Muli, welcome sa Tech Tips Webinar on Precision and Digital Agriculture. Sama-sama tayong magtaguyod sa mas matatag, masigla at makabagong agrikultura sa Central Luzon. Maraming salamat at magandang araw po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, PD Lades, for that engaging message. Ayan. And yes, we are hoping then with this webinar, we can acquire new knowledge and insights as to how modern agriculture will help our farmers. But before we proceed with our webinar proper, may I request everyone to please open their cameras para sa isang photo op. Oh, pwede po ba? Ayan. Pwede po bang mag-open ng camera ang ating mga nagagandahan at nagpupugiyang mga participants? Okay. Sige po. So 3 pages po to, no? Magka-count po ako, yung ating in charge for screenshot. Ayan, pasuyo na lang po, Ma'am Diane and the gang. Okay. So 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, next page. 3, 2, 1, smile. And then last page. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, yan po. Maraming salamat po. And syempre, dun sa mga hindi nakasama dito sa ating Zoom na nasa Facebook Live, pasensya, hindi kayo nasama sa screenshot namin. And pasok kayo dito sa webinar, dito sa Zoom namin. Okay. So, ayun. We shall now proceed with our webinar proper. So, please let me introduce to you our resource speaker. So our speaker is from Precision and Digital Agriculture Center of Central Luzon State University. He finished his bachelor and master's degree at Central Luzon State University and Doctor of Philosophy in Biological and Agricultural Engineering at Kansas State University, USA. A registered professional agricultural engineer. Former engineer at National Irrigation Administration, a DOST scholar, and now serves as the director of the CLSU Predict. Let us all welcome Dr. Jonathan Viernes Fabula. Good afternoon po, Doc.
Yes, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. Magandang tanghali po sa mga nakikinig, mga kasama natin sa Zoom at yung mga nanonood po sa Facebook Live natin. Okay, so mag-start na po ba tayo?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. Ayan, so nakikita po ba lahat?
Yes po.
Okay, naririnig naman po ako ng maayos.
Loud and clear po, Doc.
Okay, so thank you very much po. Muli po, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. At ngayon po ay ako'y naimbitahan bilang isang resource person at to talk about the precision agriculture. No? So advancing farm productivity through precision agriculture. So nung nakita ko tong title na to, actually kung hindi ko po alam kung meron tayong mga kasamahan dito, nakasamahan ko din doon sa organization namin, sa professional organization ng Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering. Dahil po itong ipipresent ko ngayon ay kung nakikinig po sila doon sa mga previous engagement ko, ay ito din po yung aking ipinresent. Na ang kon ko kasi is the best way for me to present or to talk about precision agriculture is ipakita or i-promote din yung mga ginagawa namin dito sa center. So kung meron akong mga kasamahang bayaw dyan, kunyari, hindi nyo na lang po bago nyo pa lang nakikita itong aking presentation. No? So, but anyway, so I would like to start yung presentation ko with this problem kasi ito naman lagi yung ating sinosolve na problema, di ba? When we talk about agriculture, it has something to do with the issue on our population. So, yan yung lagi nating sinasabi, even if we make a proposal na related sa agriculture or we write an article, lagi ang isyung nilalagay natin doon sa ating mga rasyonale is about the food security, the increasing population. So sabi nga dito is we are expected to reach about 9.7 billion by 2050. So we need to feed this yung napakadaming tao. So we need to feed everyone. And we need to increase yung ating food production by 70%. So kung ganun kataas yung kailangan nating i-reach, so kung traditional methods yung gagawin natin sa agriculture, then maybe it may not be enough. So nakikita naman natin yung ating mga productivity ngayon is medyo bumababa na, no? So we must innovate, sabi nga, we need to adapt science-driven and technology-based approaches to meet this growing demand while using fewer resources. Of course, without affecting yung yield kasi yun nga yung ating gustong mapataas natin yung productivity natin. So in the Philippines, this call for even more urgent as we face limited arable land, erratic weather. So nakikita nyo naman yung epekto ng climate change ngayon. And of course, yung rising input cost na laging problem ng ating mga kasamahang mga magsasaka. So dito sa atin, ito yung makikita natin na area ng ating bansa, no? So we have an area devoted to agriculture, about 13 million hectares. So but much of this land is of course under pressure from urbanization. So alam naman natin yan na some of our agricultural land is being converted into either residential or industrial. So crops like rice, corn, coconut, sugarcane. So nakita natin na yan yung nagdo-dominate ng ating agricultural production. But yung productivity nila is medyo mababa pa rin as compared to our neighboring countries. So these limitations highlight our need to produce more from less, sabi nga. And that's where yung digital and precision technologies can make a huge impact dun sa ating production. Now, I think everyone is familiar with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, yung zero hunger, which means that we need to transform our food system to become more productive, efficient, and sustainable and resilient din. So dito pumapasok yung precision and digital agriculture, and by providing yung tools that may allow yung ating mga farmers to make a smarter decision, ma-reduce yung waste and improve yung yield natin while protecting, of course, yung ating environment. So it's not just an upgrade, but it's a transformation of how we grow our food. Okay? So when we talk about precision and digital agriculture, so it uses yung mga modern tools. So dito na pumapasok yung ating mga sensors, the drones, mga data analytics, so that we can monitor yung ating crops, we can optimize the inputs, and automate yung ating process. No? So this approach directly tackles yung long-standing agricultural issues sa Pilipinas, such as yung, for example, yung inefficient irrigation, yung labor shortage, meron na rin nangyayari ganyan. And of course, yung unpredictable weather natin. So nakikita natin, sabi ko nga, yung impact ng climate change, yung mga typhoon na pumapasok sa atin, napakalalakas na, which of course is affecting our agriculture sector. So by adapting these systems, no, we make agriculture more precise, hopefully profitable, sabi nga natin, and sustainable. Okay? So, yung kasing precision agriculture, sabi nga, kung nakita niyo yung previous slide, it's just a part of the solution. It cannot just, hindi lang siya yung solution natin. It's just a part ng solution so that we can address yung problem. So marami pang dapat gawin na so that we can help yung ating farmers. So when we apply precision agriculture, it may help, no? But not totally solve yung ating issue. Okay? So the digital transformation in agriculture allows us to connect kasi yung mga data, the machines, and the people. So with the digital tool, we can predict yung crop needs, gaano ba kadami or kailangan na ba nating patubigan yung ating mga pananim, kailangan na ba natin siyang applyan ng fertilizer, no? We can also monitor yung soil health and respond, of course, to the climate threats faster. So for the Philippines, where agriculture still relies on heavy manual practices, this means yung reducing losses, improving productivity, and of course ensuring food security for future generations. So the rapid advancement ng digital technologies natin into agriculture is expected to transform yung ating entire foods value chain and construct an optimal production system that can improve productivity and reduce negative environmental impact. So nakikita naman na natin ngayon yung transition natin, yung bilis ng paglabas ng mga bagong technologies. Dati kasi few years back, mga 10 years or maybe 20 years, hindi pa tayo ganun ka-advanced when it comes to digital technologies, but with yung parang tulong ng ating mga different SUCs, mga research institutions natin, so nakikita natin na nagkakaroon na ng advancement pagdating doon sa mga digital technologies that we can use in agriculture. So one of the biggest challenge kasi in farming is yung uncertainty, sabi nga natin. So guessing when to irrigate, fertilize, or even harvest. So with the precision agriculture, so nare-remove yung guesswork ngayon, no? So smart sensors and smart system using those technologies, we can collect, we can analyze data in real time, and we can help farmers make an informed decision and data-backed decisions din, no? So mas madali nating nabibigyan yung farmers natin ng parang tulong kung kailan ba talaga sila dapat mag-irrigate or kailan sila dapat mag-apply ng fertilizer. So pag may mga ganong sistema tayo, is natutulungan natin yung ating mga farmers na mai-apply yung tamang amount ng tubig natin or the right amount din ng fertilizer para hindi tayo yung kumbaga yung dating sistema ng manual irrigation ay basta nagpatubig tayo, yun na, patubig na lang tayo, but we do not know kung kailan talaga yung dapat mag-apply ng irrigation at kailan tayo dapat huminto ng irrigation, no? So this approach improves yung ating resource use efficiency and directly addresses yung issues ng water scarcity and yung input wastage, because sabi nga natin, with the technologies that we use in agriculture, like yung mga sensors na to, soil moisture sensors, ay alam na natin. So yung farmers natin ay kaya na nilang they have a data kung kailan talaga dapat mag-irrigate at gaano kadami yung dapat nilang i-apply na mga inputs. Okay? So, dito sa amin sa university, sabi nga is we believe that the future of agriculture lies in science, technology, and education. Kaya nga sabi natin, kailangan na natin ng mga science-driven or technology-driven decision para mas ma-improve natin yung ating productivity. And our goal dito sa university and even I think other research institutions is to equip yung farmers natin, sa amin sa SUC, yung aming students, with the tools and knowledge to reduce the risk and cut costs and optimize yung mga performance. No? As a higher education institution, we serve as the bridge between the innovation and on-the-ground application. So making sure that the technologies reach those who need them most. So kasi dito sa amin, yung tinitingnan kasi namin that yung ating mga students, they are the future of agriculture, sabi nga natin. No? So sila yung mga future generations natin that can help us to develop new technologies that can be used by our farmers or can help our farmers doon sa kanilang production. Now, dito sa mga susunod na slides, doon sa para sa kaalaman po ng lahat, no? Before yung center namin became a precision and digital agriculture center, ito muna yung tinatawag nating Land and Water Resources Management Center. So yung mga next slides na ipapakita ko sa inyo, these are the projects or technologies that was developed during that time. So mostly nakapokus sa land and water resources management, no. So but of course sabi nga natin dito nag-uumpisa yung mga projects or technologies na dinevelop ng CLSU when it comes to precision agriculture. Okay? So dito sa slide na to you'll see na sabi nga natin water is life for agriculture, no. Yet it remains our most limiting resource. So meron na tayong mga cases ng El Nino, no. Kung merong mga cases na talagang meron tayong drought, then of course meron namang mga cases na sobra-sobra yung ating tubig during the La Nina season. But many Filipino farmers suffer yield losses due to the unreliable water access. So sabi nga nung isang kasama namin is kahit gaano sabi ka-fertile yung inyong soil, if you do not have a access to irrigation or water source natin, hindi reliable yung water source, is we cannot make it productive talaga yung ating area. So dito, kung limited na yung ating mga water source, no, so dito pumapasok yung ating mga smart irrigation technologies, mga digital water management, so we can optimize yung use ng ating limited resource which is the water, so that we can ensure na sabi nga every drop counts. So this is essential for climate resilience and of course food self-sufficiency. So way back in 2012, no, yung aming dating director ng Land and Water Resources Management Center, si Dr. Espino. Ito na yung mga technologies na dinidevelop during that time. So our university have initiated itong research about soil moisture sensor, data loggers to determine yung optimal irrigation schedule. So nakita natin dyan that these studies showed how yung technology natin could improve yung yield and water productivity dun sa crops that in this case is yung corn. So we continue to conduct this kind of work, no? Developing automated system that farmers can control remotely even through mobile apps. So makikita natin yan. Hindi lang si LSU but other universities as well ay meron ng mga nadidevelop na ganitong mga technology that through the use of phone they can monitor yung status ng kanilang field, no? And this innovation addresses both yung water scarcity nga and labor shortage dun sa rural areas. So because this kind of technologies ngayon ay meron ng way to control yung ating irrigation using mobile phones. So you can actually open and close yung irrigation valve natin kung meron tayong mga ganung system with the use of cellphone, no? Then of course meron tayong mga GIS na ginagamit, no? So dito nagkaroon ng study during few years back about the identification ng mga suitable sites for small scale irrigation projects using GIS. So GIS-based resource management assessment ito. So ang nangyayari kasi so that we can have an idea kung saan ba dapat ilagay yung ating mga small farm reservoir or mga shallow tube well natin. So para when we implement those project or when we establish those kind of system or mga tawag dito, mga irrigation small scale irrigation projects ay hindi na tayo nang huhula, no? Hindi na tayo nang huhula kung yun bang pinag-apply or pinagtayuan natin is magiging sustainable at meron ba talagang water source dun sa area. So we use GIS, sabi nga, through geospatial mapping. So we can locate yung mga areas where yung ating mga irrigation investment will yield the highest benefit. So we can maximize yung productivity while conserving water. So the problem kasi kung hindi natin alam kung yung area ba talaga is suitable, syempre it's parang nagsasayang lang tayo ng pera kasi we establish the irrigation, for example, the irrigation reservoir there, but then ay hindi naman ganun pala ka-reliable. Area natin. So nakita nagkaroon ng mga demo farm so that yung farmers natin can see kung ano talaga yung impact ng technologies na ganito doon sa kanilang mga crops. Then of course, when we talk about new technologies, dapat kaakibat nun, meron ding capacity building o capability building. Sabi ko nga, when we introduce technologies, hindi pwedeng you introduce it to farmers and then bahala na sila without them knowing the proper use or proper deployment ng mga technologies. Kasi most of the technologies na i-introduce natin doon sa ating farmers ay possible na mag-fail or hindi masustain because of the lack of the knowledge ng farmers natin. Hindi natin sila na-train on how to properly operate yung ating mga ganitong system. Kaya yung mga training activities natin na ginagawa sa kanila, those are essential activities na dapat kaakibat nung pagdi-deploy natin nung ating mga technologies, no? So sabi nga, yung technology adoption sa Philippines ay nagfe-fail not because of the lack of innovation but due to the lack of awareness and skills ng mga end users natin. So when we educate yung ating mga farmers directly, we can at least ensure the sustainability ng ating mga interventions. Okay? So ito yung some of the farmers na bumisita doon sa natin, and these are the results ng ating project. So you will see here that yung mga drip irrigated onions natin is over about 26 tons per hectare ang kanyang naging yield, which is mostly triple doon sa national average. So meron ding yung uniformity ng bulb size natin is na-improve. And of course, nakita natin dito that yung application natin ng precision irrigation can really transform yung traditional crops, improve yung ating farmer income, and reduce our dependency on the water intensive methods like nung flooding. Okay? So ito din, another technology or parang kasunod nung project with the sugarcane is ito naman na tuloy itong project na ito. This is headed by Dr. Marvin Sinense ngayon, no? Yung automated furrow irrigation system for sugarcane black farm. So I think this is an ongoing project pa rin, no? So ang ginawa naman dito, the system, we integrated yung mga flow modeling, no, soil moisture sensing and optimized to automation to optimize yung water use natin. So, simple lang naman yung goal nito, to produce more sugar efficiently and sustainably, sabi nga. So, we can reduce yung cost while addressing yung labor shortage dun sa farm. Okay? So, what the problem kasi dun sa, or yung state ng ating sugar industry, sabi nga dyan, it contributes to about 87 billion dun sa ating economy annually. And it supports about 700,000 workers and 5 million dependents. Pero 80% ng mga farms yan ay small, less than 5 hectares. So medyo mahirap yung mechanization and yung irrigation. Okay? So pagdating naman sa yield, 59 tons of cane per hectare lang yung ating napoproduce as compared to Thailand na nakakapag-produce sila ng about 70 tons. Okay? So through digital irrigation system like yung automated furrow irrigation system, we are hoping that we can close yung gap pagdating doon sa cane yield natin and improve yung resource use and of course help yung ating small farmers to remain competitive doon sa ating Asian market. Okay. So makita nyo, sabi nga natin, masyadong mahilig sa matatamis yung tayong mga Pinoy. Kaya tingnan nyo yung consumption natin is 150,000 tons per month of raw sugar. No? Tapos mahilig pa tayo sa mga soft drinks. So makita yung mga beverage industry, they accounts for 30,000 or 30% of the national sugar consumption. So anong challenge doon sa sugarcane? So ito, yung mga challenges na kinakaharap natin. So una, there's a need to produce more sugar efficiently and at a lower cost, especially tumataas yung mga expense or mga production cost natin. Then of course, nandyan yung climate change. So it continues to cause massive damage dun sa mga plantation from prolonged droughts to stronger typhoons. So nakikita natin yung impact niyan ngayon. No? So prayers dun sa ating mga kababayan sa Cebu na nasalanta nung previous na typhoon. So ngayon sa atin naman sugarcane. So with these challenges, it makes it urgent to introduce yung automation, smart water management, and precision irrigation technologies. Then of course, nandyan din yung pressing issues dun sa ating aging farming population. Okay? So ito lagi yung sinasabi ko nga na kapag yung ating mga kabataan ngayon ay hindi natin makuha yung interest nila sa agriculture, ay baka wala nang sumunod dito sa ating mga farmers. So the problem with that is sinong magpapakain sa atin? Are we going to rely on imports? So medyo mahirap naman yata ayan, no? Kaya nga dito sa amin, we are really doing our very best so that we can get the interest of the young generation to really go into agriculture as their career kasi mahirap na walang susunod dito sa ating mga farmers. Okay? So ito yung nakikita natin typical na irrigation system sa Negros, no? So they are using aluminum pipes, gravity fed, and of course yung furrow irrigation. So by transitioning to automated irrigation, pwede na tayong makapag-conserve ng water, tapos yung labor dependency nga marireduce natin, and we can ensure yung consistent water delivery dun sa ating crops. So dito sa technology na to, the automated furrow irrigation system, no? It integrates yung mga irrigation flow model, soil moisture sensor, and control system so that we can automate yung water distribution. So dito, you will see na meron tayong mga block farms kasi ito. So kada block nito ay meron tayong inilagay na mga control valves, and that control valves can be activated kapag na-detect na nung ating moisture sensor na nilagay doon sa field if kailangan nang mag-apply ng tubig. Kung yung ating threshold na nilagay doon sa moisture sa soil moisture ay na-meet na, ibig sabihin it's time for the system to activate or actuate yung ating control valve so that mag-flow yung water natin going to the field. And then kapag na-meet niya na yung kanyang sinet naman natin threshold, na-meet niya na yung required na moisture ng ating soil ay automatic na siyang mag-i-stop. Okay? So you can, sabi ko nga, you can you can also monitor yung condition or the status ng irrigation nyo using your mobile phone. Okay? Kaya kahit wala ka doon sa field, ay pwede mong ma-check through your mobile phone kung yung bang system mo ay nag-irrigate na or hindi pa. Okay? So these are just the summary nung ating nung result ng ating project, no. So sabi diyan, we were able to increase yung yield by 58% and we were able to save yung water ng 47% no, as compared to the traditional irrigation method, and then na-reduce natin yung labor by 70%, which allows yung farmers natin to redirect yung kanilang efforts towards other critical farm activities. Now, with all those successful initiatives ng university or ng CLSU, so nagkaroon kami ng, kumbaga, nagkaroon ng realization dito sa university that we need to have a dedicated facility for developing and promoting precision and digital agriculture technologies. Kaya nga nagkaroon with that ay nagkaroon ng na-establish itong Precision and Digital Agriculture Center. This is actually an effort by our former Vice President for Research and Extension, dating Director din ng Land and Water Resources Management Center, no, si Dr. Armando Espino, as well as the former VP for Research and Extension, si Mampe na Fortune ko lang. So, isa-shout out ko lang sila kasi kung wala sila ay wala itong center namin. So, doon, and with that ay nag-propose sila sa DA-BAR, Bureau of Agricultural Research in 2020. Kaya nagkaroon ng, so ito yung dalawang tao na sinasabi ko. So, nagkaroon tayo ng proposal sa DA-BAR to establish the Precision and Digital Agriculture Center. So this is a result of a project na ang title is Harnessing Precision and Digital Agriculture Technologies for High Value Crops in Central Luzon State University. So we were able to receive a 50 million funding sa DA-BAR so that we can establish itong center. So this is during 2020. So alam niyo naman, during 2020 ay kasagsagan pa ng pandemic, while everyone is in the safety of their home dito sa university, ay ginagawa itong center namin, no. Yan, so some of the pictures or during the groundbreaking, si Dr. William Darpa ang nandyan. So with this with the establishment of Predict, no, I think we were able to position yung CLSU as a national hub for precision and digital agriculture, no? So bridging technology developers, farmers, and policymakers. So dun sa mga hindi pa nakakalibot dito sa aming center, so eto po yung itsura ng aming center. Kung kayo po ay dadaan dito sa Maharlika Highway, ay katapat lang po kami ng Philippine Carabao Center, yung headquarters. So if you wanted to visit yung aming center, ay just let us know lang po so that ma-tour namin kayo dito. Okay? So yan, merong mga portion yung aming or part yung aming yung center. So nandyan yung ating mga farm, yung machinery shed, then of course meron yung greenhouse, no? Medyo malaki yung greenhouse na to, but this is intended for research purposes kasi kaya ganito kalaki yung naging itsura ng greenhouse na to. But of course, yung mga greenhouse na pwede naman natin i-develop is hindi naman required na ganito. So we can do simple greenhouses para dun sa mga technology na pwede natin gamitin. Then of course, yung aming main building. So ito nandito yung mga office natin, tapos some laboratories that we are using para dun sa development ng mga technologies natin. So with that project, so na-improve yung aming mga facilities dito, yung aming mga access road, yung fences, okay? So meron kaming mga na-install ng mga CCTV, kaya yung mga kasamahan ko dito ay sabi ko nga hindi sila makakapagtago kung wala silang ginagawa ay nakikita namin. Yan, so yan, meron ding mga may tractor din nakasama. So ano ba yung mga naging part nung pan na yon, nung project na yon, no? So one of the component ng project is yung mapping ng spatial variability ng soil fertility within the field. So ito ginamit din yung GIS or Geographic Information System so that we can map yung soil variability. So kung makikita niyo dito ay merong map dyan na sample ng na-generate na map. So ang assumption kasi natin is we always think na yung condition or the nutrient requirement ng field natin is uniform, but in reality ay hindi ganon. Based on this study ay hindi ganon yung nangyayari. So there's a variability ng mga nutrient requirement or nutrient dun sa soil. So if we have this kind of data, we can pinpoint kung saan lang dapat tayo mag-apply nung mga fertilizer na kailangan natin, no? So for example, makita niyo diyan may red, may yellow and green. So iba-iba yung requirement niyan. Okay? So pag kasi ang farmers kasi natin when they apply fertilizer ay usually blanket application to. So pag sinabi doon sa kwan natin, doon sa recommendation na for example is 190 kilogram per hectare. So ganun yung application. It's blanket yan lahat noong area sa field. But when we look at it closely ay hindi usually ganun ang case. Kaya pwedeng magkakaroon ng different application. Okay? Kaya yun yung ating tinignan dito sa study na to. Now, the question is how are we going to apply yung mga fertilizer na yon when we say na mayroong mga variability sa field. So doon naman pumapasok yung mga variable rate technologies, no? So eto merong kasama sa dinevelop dito yung variable rate fertilizer applicator, but this is for kung lang muna I think sa liquid fertilizer muna ito tinesting, no? So dito makita natin kapag napunta ka na doon sa area na different na yung inyong application, so you can switch doon sa kumbaga ito ay medyo manual pa. You can switch yung inyong system kung alin dapat doon sa mga nozzle mo ang i-on mo so that you can apply yung inyong nutrient requirement. Okay? So another project that we have na related sa drone technology is yung monitoring ng major pests and diseases sa corn and onion. So this is a project then funded by DOST Picard, and this is headed by Dr. Jela Abella, no? So siya yung director ng ISEM and we are tapped to help them to gather data using drone kasi dito sa amin nandito kasi yung drone na meron kasi kaming drone na pwedeng gamitin. We have a multispectral camera na naka-attach doon sa drone so that we can gather information or our images na when it comes to the infestation doon sa field. Okay? So one of the aim na gusto namin dito din sa Predict is parang at least ay ma-icon namin siya as drone service provider. So we can provide drone services pagdating dun sa mga multispectral imaging na kailangan ng university or maybe other institution na nangangailangan ng service. Kaya ang ginawa namin dito is nagkaroon kami ng training, and then yung isang staff namin dito ay isang licensed drone pilot. So when we operate a drone, kailangan din yung drone pilot natin ay may lisensya, and I think it's required na yata ngayon ng CAAP na dapat kapag nagpapalipad tayo ng drone ay meron tayong lisensya, no, para din sa mga sasakyan. Okay? So ang aim nitong project na to is of course yun nga magpakita doon sa ating mga farmers yung infestation doon sa kanilang area so that they can make a decision agad na kapag may mga infestation na gano'n nakalala yung infestation ay makita agad nila yon and then they can apply the necessary intervention. Okay? So, yan. So I think you're all familiar with hydroponic system, no? So merong dinevelop dito yung mga kasamahan namin about vertical tower gardens. So ang expert naman namin dito is si Dr. Chris Pascual, kababalik lang from North Carolina State ng kanyang natapos niya yung kanyang PhD. So if you are interested dito sa technology na to, you can contact Dr. or you can contact us, then we can request Dr. Pascual to interested kayo dito sa technology na ito. So the good thing about this technology kasi is you are just using 1/10 of the usual land area na mayroon tayo so that we can increase yung ating productivity, no, dun sa very small space. So maganda ito dun sa mga urban settings, especially dun sa mga cities na very limited yung kanilang mga pinagtatamnan. The good thing about this is sabi nga ay solar power din. You can use it na sa solar powered siya so that you do not have a problem dun sa energy niya. Okay? So ganyan yung mga system natin and ito yung mga some of the schools na nabigyan ng mga tower gardens. So itong mga school na to, they are already integrated yung ganitong system or yung ganitong technology dun sa kanilang curriculum. So dun sa mga kasing edad ko or mas may edad sa akin, so kung natatandaan natin noon na yung ating pagdating ng mga 4 o'clock, pinalalabas na tayo ng teacher natin ng elementary at magpapagandahan na tayo ng garden noon, di ba? So nag-aasarol na tayo noon, then we improve our plots, then we plant kamote. So ngayon, ito namang mga estudyante na to is ganito na yung kanilang garden ngayon. Okay? Yan. And then of course, ito din yung isang technology na we are trying to develop, no? We call it CLSU Green Plant Factory. This is actually funded by our university. And meron kaming isang area dito na kinonvert namin into a plant factory. So makikita nyo dito, this is a vertical farming system din na so that we can grow crops doon sa loob ng mga building in a controlled environment. So ngayon meron din kaming inaantay din na funding from the ABAR. Hopefully ay based on our information ay for disbursement na at i-expand namin itong production namin or yung aming area ng green plant factory. And then nagkaroon kami ng tie-up with a Korean company doon sa development ng smart indoor aeroponic system naman na production ng ginseng, no? So tinry namin, kaya lang unfortunately ay hindi naging maganda yung initial trial namin na pag-grow ng ginseng. So kaya medyo inaayos pa namin yon, but yung ka-tie up kasi namin kung sana ay ito ay naging successful ay ang plan is yung napoproduce ng mga farmers, kung i-introduce natin itong system na to sa mga farmers or yung crop na to sa mga farmers, is sila yung bibili doon sa mga mapoproduce na mga ginseng ng mga farmers kasi yung company nila is producing product, mga beauty product, soap, or even mga drinks na merong ingredients na ginseng. So ganun sana yung control. And this system, sabi nga, smart indoor ito, indoor system using aeroponics. And yung kanyang system dito is merong cooling system yung pampalamig doon sa tubig na ina-apply. Okay? And then ito yung isang dinidevelop din namin. Sabi ko nga, we are trying to catch up doon sa ating mga neighboring countries kasi medyo talagang very advanced na sila when it comes to agriculture. Just like last time nung nandun kami sa Taiwan ay meron na silang mga dinidevelop na mga ganitong technologies na mga robotics. So ginagamit na nila yung mga ganitong system. For example, dun sa harvesting ng tomato. So autonomously yung kanilang system ay it can detect kung yung fruits ay hinog na ba, nung yung fruit nung yung bunga ng kamatis ay hinog na ba or hindi pa. And then the system kapag na-detect niya na yun ay hinog na, so it will harvest yung particular fruit na yon. Okay? So ngayon dito sa amin we are trying our very best to start small, sabi nga. And hopefully we can come up with a system na pwede natin sabihin na gawa dito sa atin na application ng robotics din into agriculture, no? So kasi ang kon natin lagi dito, ang connotation kung mga robotics is masyadong advanced para doon sa ating mga farmers. Well, I think sabi ko naman is that is true, that is too advanced, pero we don't have any other choice kasi sabi nga kanina ni Ma'am Lady Mel is yung ating agriculture is talagang papunta doon sa precision and digital technologies na, the utilization of digital and precision technologies. So kung hindi tayo mag-uumpisa ngayon, kailan tayo mag-uumpisa? Yun naman kasi yung aking laging iniisip. Dapat merong someone from us na makapag-umpisa ng mga ganitong technologies para i-improve na lang natin siya ng i-improve hanggang magamit ng ating mga farmers. Kasi kung laging ang thinking natin is masyadong mahal, lagi tayong mahuhuli kumbaga doon sa ating mga neighboring countries. At tinitingnan din natin dito, sabi nga, when we talk about precision and digital agriculture, we are actually future-proofing yung ating industry, the agriculture industry. Kasi kung hindi ganun ang magiging thinking natin, sabi ko nga, baka dumating yung time na very limited yung ating mga labor doon sa farm, we don't have any other source na kung sino magko-cultivate ng field natin, sino magtatanim, and then dito napapasok yung mga ganitong technologies, yung mga robots ang gagawa doon sa field. So maybe we can look at it that way. Para sa akin kasi ganun yung aking thinking. It's not just kumbaga helping our farmers today, but also helping yung ating mga farmers in the next generation. Okay? So kaya yung team namin, ganito yung aming thinking dito sa precision, sa predict, no? Yan. So eto, as part of that initiative din, so nagkaroon kami ng collaboration with Circa, no? So ni-launch namin last year yung agri-robotics education for young learners. So yung mga picture dito, hindi ito yung young learners natin, medyo young at heart lang, no? Pero ito kasi yung team na tinrain kami para maging trainer para dito sa program na to. Okay? So nagkaroon ng mga hands-on workshop so that yung mga students namin will learn kung paano mag-program doon sa how to utilize yung mga robotics, the programming as well as automation ng mga ganitong system doon sa application niya into farm. Okay? So yan, sabi ko nga, yung initiative na to is directly tackling yung issue ng declining youth participation sa agriculture. So we can make it exciting, tapos technology-driven and future-oriented. So ito, nagkaroon kami ni-request kami ng TAU, Tarlac Agricultural University, to conduct a agri-robotics education doon sa kanilang mga, I think this is a college students, no? So yan yung ating mga naging participant during that time. But of course, aside from that, aside from that, hindi lang ito yung tinarget namin. Ang actually target namin dito is yung mga elementary and high school students ng DepEd. So meron kaming ginawang training din doon sa ating mga elementary and high school students sa dito sa may Muñoz and San Jose. And then this coming November 26 ay doon naman kami sa may Cabanatuan. So, yun naman yung tinatarget namin mag-conduct ng training on agri-robotics education para doon sa kanilang mga elementary and high school students. So, with this kasi nakita natin, nasabi nga natin, at least makuha natin yung interest ng ating mga students or ating mga young generation sa agriculture. And then, ito yung aming system or yung ating tinatawag na mobile solar powered irrigation system, no? So, we have developed this kind of technology para naman yung to address yung mataas na cost ng mga fuel natin, no? So that yung mga farmers natin is through the use of this technology ay hindi na reliant doon sa traditional or conventional fuel. So we are utilizing renewable energy dito. So itong system na to, of course, not just for irrigation, no, dito kasi nilagyan namin siya ng battery so that we can actually use yung energy na na-store dun sa battery para mag-power ng small farm equipment. So dito sa technology, dito sa ginawa namin, ay tinesting namin siya to power yung small rice mill. At kaya niya naman na i-power yung rice mill na yon, no? Yan. Then of course, ito yung isa din, agrivoltaic system. So kung makikita nyo yung mga status or kung yung pagkaka-set up ng mga solar farms ngayon is medyo close sa ground. And with that is hindi na siya yung area na pinagtayuan nung system or nung solar farm ay hindi mo na magamit yung area sa baba for production. But with this kind of technology, so makikita nyo dito na you can actually ni-raise lang namin yung pag-installan ng solar panel and then we can plant crops doon sa ilalim, no? And the problem kasi na ina-address nito is pwede kang magkaroon ng energy generation as well as crop production doon sa similar or doon sa same area. So wala nang problem na merong na kapag energy generation ka lang is just energy generation. Ito both, you have energy generation and then you have crop production. And I think ito ay meron ng fund to conduct a feasibility study ng installation or establishment ng agrivoltaic system all throughout the country. And I think that project is headed by Dr. Marvin Sinense. Yan. So yun. So yung system na to nandito din sa amin, meron nandito sa Predict itong agrivoltaic system, yung unang agrivoltaic dito sa aming area. Yan. And then of course, kung makikita nyo, isa kasi sa challenge na laging naririnig namin noon is when we talk about agriculture is laging ang study natin ay nakafocus sa crops at lagi natin na babaliwala or na kumbaga na isasantabi yung other aspect ng agriculture, kumbaga more on crops, pero when it comes to livestock and fisheries medyo laging hindi o madalang yung nagiging study or research about that. So ngayon, yun kasi yung naririnig ko dun sa aming sa convention natin, no? Sa convention namin sa ABE. So ngayon, nagkaroon kami ng project sa DOST Picard. We call it Project ISDA. Yan, medyo mahaba. Infusing smart technologies in CLSU tilapia breeding nucleus towards precision and digital aquaculture. So ang aim namin dito is to develop a smart aqua feeder, no? And a fry collection system in support doon sa ginagawang project or initiative noong aming Freshwater Aquaculture Center to increase yung production ng fast breeder na na-develop namin dito. So in support to that ay yun ang aming ang aim or ang contribution ng center doon sa program na yon. So we're going to develop a smart aqua feeder and a smart fry collector as well as yung fry counter. Okay? Yan, so with that diverse technologies, no, yung aming center has evolved into a-learning and agritourism site. So yung ating mga farmers, students, they can visit and witness kung ano yung mga digital tools that can transform yung agriculture from irrigation to aquaculture. So yan, ito yung aming mga some of the visitors na meron kami. Meron tayong mga kasamahan din from other SUCs and then mga foreign dignitaries, no? So nagkakaroon na ng mga, kumbaga naging, sabi nga, agritourism site na rin yung ating area. And the good thing about that ay hindi lang yung mga professionals, meron din tayong mga students na bumibisita dito. And nito lang nakaraan ay maraming mga, or hanggang ngayon ay maraming mga students na from Muñoz na nagpupunta dito, other ay from Aliaga or Santo Domingo na nag-i-inquire or nagsisik ng help regarding dun sa kanilang mga project na may relation sa agriculture or precision and digital agriculture, which is medyo natutuwa naman kami na marami ng mga students na talagang dun sa kanilang mga research projects ay gusto nilang mag-focus doon sa agriculture and the application of precision and digital technologies dun sa agriculture. So with that, sabi nga namin, Predict is not just a research hub. So it's a learning ecosystem. So we provide yung ating mga students with hands-on training when it comes to automation, data analytics, the IoT integration, and yung mga field monitoring. So yung kanilang active participation on the in ongoing projects, so they gain yung mga real-world experience on how digital technologies can improve yung ating productivity and the sustainability. So yung experiential approach na yon, it ensures that our graduates are not only knowledgeable but also industry ready, that are capable of leading the digital transformation in Philippine agriculture. So yun, sabi ko nga doon na pumapasok yung yung ways forward natin. So just last time lang, I think nakita ko si Sir Greg dito. We were at TESDA actually. So isa doon sa we were requested to serve as a resource person doon sa development ng competency standard about automation and mechanization. Okay? So at least nakikita natin that even the government or the TESDA, ay doon din, at least they are trying to help yung agriculture industry to come up with something na pwedeng makatulong doon sa ating agriculture. Okay? So we are nurturing the next generation ng ating mga agri-technologies and digital farmers. So of course, our goal is to produce students that are equally comfortable in operating maybe the drones, analyzing data sets, and mapping managing production systems. So these are future professionals that will play a crucial role in bridging the country's technological and generational gaps in agriculture. By integrating yung data science and automation dun sa ating curriculum, we are, sabi ko nga, future-proofing both our students and our agricultural sector. And then one of our biggest challenges in the Philippine agriculture is, sabi nga natin kanina, is the declining interest ng ating mga youth. Okay? So through the programs like yung agri-robotics education na nabanggit natin kanina, yung training on drone operation, mga hydroponic farmers. So we show that agriculture today is smart, connected, and high-tech na rin kahit paano. So we are changing the narrative. Sabi nga, farming is not a low-income traditional job. So it is now data-driven, innovation-rich profession that plays a vital role in food security and environmental sustainability. So by educating, while we train our students, we also extend our efforts dun sa ating mga farming communities, no? So education, sabi natin, and awareness are key to ensuring that technology adoptions reaches the grassroots. So yun naman ang bottom line nun. Lahat ng technologies, all the technologies that we are developing is dapat hindi mag-end doon sa table lang or sa shelf. Dapat yan ay naibababa natin doon sa mga talagang mangangailangan or nangangailangan, which is yung ating mga farmers. That's why dito sa amin we are regularly conducting mga field schools, workshops, mga demo to teach yung ating mga farmers pagdating dito sa mga precision and digital technology. So this empowerment addresses yung mga long-standing barrier dun sa limited digital literacy dun sa mga rural areas, so that we can be ensured that yung mga farmers natin, so that there are no farmers left behind dun sa transformation ng ating agriculture. Okay? So with that, CLSU remains steadfast in its commitment to drive the digital transformation ng Philippine agriculture. So we aim for a farming sector that is more efficient, more productive, highly profitable, environment friendly, and future ready. Okay, so yung transformation na yan is not optional. So it is essential to achieve the national food security and resilience in the face of global challenges like climate change and population growth. Okay, so with that po, our work here at Predict proves that yung mga technology adoption leads to measurable impact, mga higher yields, lower input costs, and reduced waste, no? So if you wanted to know more about what we are doing here at Predict, ito po yung aming mga contact numbers or information, and then you can also follow us on Facebook, CLSU Precision and Digital Agriculture Center. Okay? So to conclude po, let me emphasize that agriculture in the Philippines now stands at the crossroad. No? We can continue with the outdated methods, or we can embrace yung precision and digital technologies that ensure yung food security, economic growth, and environmental resilience. So through Predict, and of course yung collaborative efforts ng mga different institutions like the DOST, PhilRice, DABAR, and other SUCs, no, we are proving that the future of Philippine agriculture is not just possible. So it's already unfolding today. Marami na sa ating gumagawa and that's a good thing na marami sa ating mga institutions, government institution, even private and SUCs is working together so that we can help the agriculture sector. So thank you very much, and let's keep working together toward the smarter, more sustainable farming future. So yun lang po. Thank you very much, and yan.
Ayan po, maraming salamat po, Dr. Fabula, for that very informative discussion. Now it's time for our Q&A. But first, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our ever-supportive and innovative na regional director. Nandito po siya ngayong hapon, Dr. Julius Cesar Sicat. Hello po, RD. Salamat po sa pagsama sa amin ngayong hapon. Ayun po si RD Hen po. Good afternoon po.
Good morning.
Ay, good morning pala.
Morning dito sa Barcelona, Spain ngayon, and I would like to thank Dr. Fabula, no, because really smart agriculture is something that we should look forward to. At natutuwa ako, look at this, oh. Kamatis dito sa Spain. Ganyan po kalaki. Using smart agriculture, bumili ko nito para makapag-uwi dyan sa Pilipinas at maisama natin dahil sa ating demo. Using yung smart agriculture system natin dyan sa rooftop ng DOST Region 3. And we are really looking forward to have CLSU working with us in pushing for smart and sustainable agriculture. Maraming salamat po, Sir Jonathan, and salamat sa CLSU. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much din po, Sir JC, no? And thank you very much for the support na binibigay nyo sa university.
Ayan po, thank you RD. Okay, sige. So let's move to our Q&A portion. So dito maraming mga questions sa ating chat box and mga nag-PM din sa akin. Ayan. So first question po, sir. We have a lot of GIS and RS research and projects. Do we have a centralized database for this so the public can access?
So when we talk about GIS, tama ba, sir?
Yes po, yes
Yeah.
po.
It depends kasi I do not have actually an idea kung may centralized tayo, but it depends on the kwan kasi when it comes to rice, syempre nandyan yung PhilRice. So if you talk about GIS on crops like na related sa rice, maybe PhilRice head. No? Baka meron silang technology or meron silang database about that. I think meron sila I forgot the term nung project nila. They are using yung mga technologies or mga information na related doon sa rice, and I think yung kanilang mga stakeholders can access it. Mamaya baka matandaan ko, I just forgot yung kanilang project no. And when it comes siguro doon sa yung isa sa na-present natin kanina na about irrigation water, maybe NIA, meron yon, and then BSWM. So, but when it comes to the totality na isang kumbaga isang agency na nag-handle nun, I don't think na meron tayong ganon at the moment. But maybe we can look at it. Baka in the future ay maging ganon yung ating sistema na merong isang agency na nag-handle nung technology or yung system na ganon so that everyone can access it. And I think most of the technologies naman or most of the information na kapag dinevelop noong, for example, nung isang agency, maybe si LSU or PhilRice or other research institution, they are making sure naman na these are actually accessible dun sa ating mga farmers through maybe sa website, no? So yun naman kasi yan So sabi ko nga, if you develop yung technology, hindi pwedeng sa'yo lang. Dapat you make sure na yun ay makakarating dun sa talagang nangangailangan. And I think with that ay ginagawa namang accessible noong mga nagde-develop ng mga ganong system. Siyempre dun sa mga stakeholders. Kasi sabi ko nga, mababaliwala din yung mga dinevelop na yun kung hindi nila maipagagamit or hindi naman accessible doon sa mga farmers. Yan.
Okay po, Doc. Yes, RD?
Thank you. In fact, yung ating ilo-launch na SINAG or Sustainable and Innovative Agriculture Program, which will be housed sa DOST Regional Office, part of it, or I think that's component number 3 of that SINAG program would be putting up a database of all smart technologies available nationwide. And this would be done in partnership with the DOST regional offices nationwide. No, they would provide us information on all available smart technologies na nade-develop, especially ng ating mga partner SUCs. So yan ang magiging database natin online, and it would be hosted by the DOST Regional Office number 3 under the program Smart and Sustainable and Innovative Agriculture Program. So it would be launched this November 13 po. We are inviting all of you to come and see ang ating SINAG program. Thank you po.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir JC. Yan, naalala ko na yung Project Prism ng PhilRice. So, yan.
Okay po, salamat po. Next question po tayo, sir. Siguro, sir, ito medyo on your opinionated tong ating mga question dito. So, how can a private or public partnership contribute to the success of precision agriculture?
Yan. Well, isa kasi sa napansin ko, no, when I went to Kansas State nung aking PhD is pagdating doon sa mga funding, I'm not sure if it's talk if it ano no if it talks about the funding nung or maybe matakil natin yung funding. So doon kasi yung sa experience namin doon, yung private company, sila yung nagpopondo doon sa mga SUCs para i-test yung kanilang mga technology. Okay? So kumbaga mangyayari diyan, pinopondohan nila yung research aspect ng kanilang technology kung paano nila i-improve. Pinapasa nila sa mga SUCs. Okay? So ang nangyayari doon is sa pondo, popondohan nila yung pag-conduct ng research na yon, and then siyempre lahat ng data na yon ay gagamitin naman nung private company na yon to improve yung kanilang system. So ganun kasi yung nangyayari doon. Dito sa atin medyo pagdating sa ganong case ay medyo limited tayo, no? So pagdating doon sa pagpupondo ng mga ganong type ng research ay medyo hindi pa ganon kumbaga limited yung private public partnership doon sa sa aspect na yon. So isa nga doon sa nung nagkaroon ng accreditation dito or yung yung accreditation namin ng AUNQA, yung Asian University Network Quality Assurance is tinatanong sa amin bakit puro government ang nagpapan sa inyo, sabi bakit wala yung private. So I think with that ay pwede nating hopefully yung ating mga kasamahan sa private sector can look at it and maybe explore yung possibility ng mga ganon para hindi lang puro government natin yung nagpopondo doon sa mga ganitong type of research. And yun kasi ang doon, when we talk about private individual or private companies kasi mas kumbaga pagdating doon sa pagbibigay ng mga let's say pondo or mga access doon sa kanilang mas madali as compared to the government, kasi sa government talagang lahat yan dadaan ng process, but when it comes to yung private entity sana na makakatulong natin doon sa tawag dito, yung sa pagpapakilala ng precision ng digital agriculture, doon natin sila mas matutulungan. So maybe yung mga technology na na-develop natin, the SUCs or RDIs natin, we can tap yung private companies para kumbaga mapalawak pa natin yung ating maabot. Kasi kung if it's just the government, medyo mahihirapan tayo. Sabi ko nga, we need all the help that we can get so that we can improve or help yung ating mga farmers.
Okay,
So
Doc.
hopefully
Actually,
nasagot ko
yes po.
yung question.
Ayan, actually connected dito sa po niya, sa may follow-up question din ulit dito si Sir Mark Joel. So in terms of funding, sir, sabi rin niya, our government is boosting the agriculture budget and prioritizing modernization. Pero yung funding po ba ay sufficient for capital investment for precision technology?
Yeah. So kung sufficient ba ganun yung well, when we talk about funding kasi from the government, syempre hindi lahat maibibigay sa kanya kasi they need to have kumbaga may prioritization yan. Anong mga product ang mga technologies lang or anong mga kumbaga yung kanilang priority commodity or technology na pwedeng pondohan. So from there ay yun lang din naman kasi ang ginagawa ng mga SUCs and other RDIs, kung yung bang mga proposals na isasubmit namin sa kanila is papasok doon sa kanilang priority commodity or priority technology. So medyo mahirap sagutin kung talagang enough ba, kasi pwede naman natin sabihin enough for this year, pero syempre nililimit lang din kasi nila yan based din doon sa kung magkano lang talaga ang ang budget nila for the year, no? So from there ay syempre sabi nga natin, ipa-prioritize nila yung mga proposals na napapasok doon sa mga popondohan nila na talaga nilang nakikita nila na may potential to really help yung ating mga yung or ma-address yung mga problems na dapat nating i-address when it comes to agriculture. So medyo palagay ko mahirap sagutin kung enough, no? Yan. So but ganun kasi yung nangyayari.
Thank you po, sir. Ito, mukhang sa policy ulit, sir, no? So, let's see if we can try to answer this. Farmers Association and cooperatives usually benefits on new technologies. But what are the steps taken by the government for small-scale farmers that does not have capability in investing agricultural technologies? Kailangan po ba talaga nilang mag-form ng groups? Yun po ba talaga yung way for them to have grants in the government?
I think yun yung talagang ine-aim ng government, no? Kasi the problem, sabi nga natin, kung small, sabi natin yung farmer ay isang farmer lang siya and he wanted to gain access doon sa, for example, drone or something. Ang tanong doon ay kaya niya bang bumili? So ngayon ang kagandahan kasi when you are in a group or farmers group, no, or farmers organization, yung access doon sa mga technologies is mas mabilis. Kasi usually ang ginagawa ng government, syempre gusto niyan mas madaming matulungan. Kung ikaw kasi isang farmer lang, single farmer, most probably hindi ka bibigyan ng government ng technology na kailangan mo kasi ikaw lang ang gagamit. Baka kasi ganun yung thinking. But kung ikaw ay member ng isang farmers organization, definitely yung mga technologies na ibibigay sa iyo ng government is doon sa organization. And sino ba yung mga member ng organization? So marami yan. It's a group of farmers. So kaya ganun yung nagiging strategy ng government, no? Para mas madali yung access sa kanila. Plus syempre, yung maintenance din ng mga technologies na binibigay, it's on the hand of the farmers organization and not just on the single individual. Yeah.
Okay po, Doc. Maraming salamat. So as of now, wala pa naman tayong mga relatable questions as of now. Siguro pwede ba tayo mag-request kay RD? RD, can we have a group photo with you muna? Ayan po. Pwede po ba tayo mag-open ng camera? Ayan. So, dun sa mga may habol pang question, paki-type in na rin habang naka-open yung camera ninyo. Okay, sige po, magka-count ako. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, next page. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, last page po tayo. Ayan. Medyo nangangalay na yung pisngi ko. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, yan po. Maraming salamat po. Ayan, so kung wala nang question, no more questions in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ayan, so again, once again po, maraming salamat, Doc Fabula, for the learnings and insights you shared this afternoon. And of course, as a gesture of our sincere appreciation, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation. Ayan, so let me read the citation. Republic of the Philippines, Department of Science and Technology, Regional Office 3 awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Jonathan V. Fabula in grateful recognition and commendation for sharing his valuable time, knowledge, and expertise as resource speaker during the conduct of TechTips 35 Precision Agriculture, held on November 7, 2025 via online video conference, given the 7th day of November 2025. Signed by our Regional Director, Dr. Julius Cesar V. Sicat. Ayan po, muli maraming salamat po, sir, sa pagpapaunlak ng inyong oras. Ayan, muli po, palakpakan po natin. Virtual applause to Dr. Jonathan Fabula, the Director of CLSU Precision and Digital Agriculture Center. Okay, so
Thank you
ayan.
very much po.
As we reach to the conclusion of this webinar, on behalf of the DOST Central Luzon, headed by our Regional Director, Dr. Julius Cesar Sicat, we would like to sincerely thank everyone to those who joined us today. And to formally close this activity, we will hear another recorded message from DOST Nueva Ecija Provincial Director, Ms. Lady Mel B. Sicat.
Magandang araw pong muli sa ating lahat. Sa ngalan ng DOST Central Luzon, taus-puso po kaming nagpapasalamat sa inyong aktibong pakikilahok sa ating Tech Tips webinar on Precision and Digital Agriculture. Ang mga kaalamang ating natutunan ngayon ay patunay na ang agham at teknolohiya ay epektibong kasangkapan upang mapaunlad ang agrikultura hindi lamang sa ani at kita, kung hindi mas matalinong paggamit ng ating likas na yaman. Naway magsilbing inspirasyon po ito upang patuloy nating tangkilikin at gamitin ang mga inobasyong hatid ng DOST sa ating komunidad. Lubos din po kami nagpapasalamat kay Dr. Jonathan Fabula, mga katuwang na institusyon at lahat ng dumalo sa webinar na ito. Muli maraming salamat po at hanggang sa susunod na Tech Tips webinar series. Sama-sama po tayong magtaguyod ng isang matatag, masigla at makabagong Central Luzon. Magandang araw at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
So there you have it, ladies and men, and we will now flash on screen the attendance and evaluation link for this webinar. Kindly answer it within 30 minutes. Ayan, again, yung ating e-certificates will be released within 2 weeks. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat and see you on the next Tech Tips.
Ayan, thank you very much again,
Thank
sir.
you po, sir.
Magsha-shoutout lang ako saglit. At ako po ay bago napunta dito sa CLSU, actually ako ay nagtrabaho po dyan sa Balog-Balog Multipurpose Project dyan sa may Matatalaib. Kaya kapag sinabing Tarlac ay medyo malapit-lapit din sa puso ko yan. Kaya hello po dun sa mga naging katrabaho namin dyan sa Balog-Balog Multipurpose Project ng National Irrigation Administration. So syempre dito din sa mga kasamahan namin sa CLSU and dito sa center namin, dun sa aking mga kasamahan, and of course yung aking family, yung aking mother at saka yung dalawang kapatid ko, yung aking asawa at saka yung mga anak. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much, sir, again.
Sir, thank you very much po.